Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. We always have this four kind of companies. In category 1, a market valuates the company at a higher value, which means the market is thinking the company to be good and in reality the company is good. In category 2, the market valuates the company at a very low price, which means the market is thinking the company to be bad and in reality the company is good. And in category C, the market evaluates the company at a higher price. The market is thinking the company to be good and in reality the company is bad. And in category 4, the market thinks the company is bad and in reality the company is actually bad. So what we need to concentrate here is category C and category D are kind of companies where we should never try to put our hands in. So we should always try to stay away from such kind of companies. Whatever the market thinks is irrelevant to us. The reality is the only factor which matters. So in reality the company should not be bad, which is not seen in case of category C and category D companies. Now coming to category A and category B. Category B is actually a gold mine. Let's talk it after category A. So category A is where the market is thinking the company to be good and it valuates this kind of companies at a very high price. So it is already a high priced company and in reality these companies are actually a very good companies. Now a typical example here would be Asian Paints. Asian Paints, the market is currently evaluating it at a PE of 80 to 90 and in reality the company is a super fantastic company. Now many people might be saying that this is not a good idea because getting into a company where it is already overpriced is not a good opportunity. Many people might be thinking this, but this is not actually true. In the long run, what happens is a good company will always try to do things in a proper way, in a correct way, and it is always in a path of doing big and growing steadily. So this is really a good one. Now coming to the price, always a good company is valued at a higher price. Many a times you will not be able to find a good company at a low price, and it is always good to be in a good company. So you should not be thinking of a price much when you are getting into a good company. And the other reason on why to get into this category A companies is finding out category B companies is very tough. In today's world, everyone on their fingertips are having the information. They can Google it, they can find the annual reports, they can analyze those things, and everyone can find this company. So finding out such companies where market has not found them is very tough. So always it is good to get into a category A company. Now coming to category B companies are like a gold mine to us. Market thinks these companies to be bad, but in reality these companies are actually a good one. But the main trick here is finding such kind of companies is very difficult and a toughsome job. So it is always good to stay in a category A companies, and in case if we get category B companies, make sure that the company is really good. Re-verify it, recheck it, and make yourself sure that the company is in reality a good company, and then get into this category B companies. And actually this category B companies are the gold mines. You get the benefit of beating the market in this kind of companies. Having said that, let's move to today's analysis. Today we are analyzing GSPL, that is Gujarat State Petronet Limited. We will start off with the business analysis, then we will go through its financial performance, and thirdly we will do its valuation. A simple valuation is done here. And fourth one is the opportunities and concerns. We will see what are the opportunities and concerns in this company. And fifthly, I'll share my personal opinion with respect to this particular company. So let's start off with the business. So Gujarat State Petronet Limited is a natural gas infrastructure company which is engaged in gas transportation business. To be simply put, GSPL is a gas transporting company which transports gas from source to destination by laying out the pipelines. So this is the core business of GSPL. Now coming to source and destination. Source is a place from where the gas is being taken. Here the main sources are Dahej and Hazara terminal. These are LNG terminals. These are the places where the natural gas is being imported from Qatar. So you can think this as a kind of a places where the LNG, that is natural gas, is being stored. Number one thing. Now coming to destination, here GSPL's main customers are fertilizer industries, factories, steel industries, power industries, and also CGD companies. that is City Gas Distribution Companies. Now many people confuse GSPL with the CGD company, that is City Gas Distribution Company. Actually, GSPL is not a CGD company, because a CGD company is the one which directly deals with the customers. It is nowhere involved in transporting natural gas from source to destination or laying out pipelines from source to destination. So CGD is different. But the other thing to note here is GSPL's one of the major subsidiary, that is Gujarat Gas Limited, is a CGD company, that is City Gas Distribution Company, and in this Gujarat Gas Limited, the GSPL holds around 54% of share. So it is indirectly involved in CGD business, but it is not actually a CGD company. Okay. Now coming to the Gujarat map, as you can see on the map, these are the pipelines. The darker sections are the pipelines which are already being laid out and are commissioned. So these are fully functional pipelines. The lighter ones are the ones which are under construction. They are yet to be commissioned. So GSPL has around 2621 km of pipeline in the state of Gujarat. Now coming to its subsidiaries, associates and joint ventures, GSPL holds a share in these four main entities. The first one is Gujarat Gas Limited, second is Sabarmati, third is GIGL, fourth is GITL. In Gujarat Gas Limited, which is the largest city gas distribution company in India, it holds around 54% of share. In Sabarmati Gas Limited, it holds around 27%. Now, Sabarmati Gas Limited actually operates in the northern part of Gujarat, where it accounts Gandhinagar and Mason. So in this, the company holds around 27% of stake. In GIGL, it holds around 52%, and in GITL, it holds around 52%. Now we will go through all these subsidiaries very clearly. Okay, starting off with the Gujarat Gas Limited. Gujarat Gas Limited is a city gas distribution company which is operating in 42 districts. This is the largest city gas distribution company in India, and it is doing pretty well. If we see its performance, if we see its annual reports, it is a good company, and it is trying to steadily increase its reach, its capacity, its business. So this is actually a good one, and this is the reason, this subsidiary is the reason why GSPL is as a company is doing well. This subsidiary is the one which is actually the backbone of GSPL. Now coming to second one, that is Sabarmati Gas Limited. Sabarmati Gas Limited, as I said, operates in the region of Gandhinagar, Mason and Sabarkantha. This is not as huge as Gujarat Gas Limited, but it is a smaller entity and operates in these three major regions. Now coming to the third subsidiary, that is GIGL. GIGL is into the development of Mehsan Bathinda pipeline and Bathinda Jammu Srinagar pipeline. Mehsan Bathinda pipeline is of around 1834 kilometers and Bathinda Jammu Srinagar pipeline is around 740 kilometers. So this is still under construction. The pipelines are being laid out. So the company is not getting any revenues as of now, and they are still in the investing phase. Now coming to the fourth subsidiary, that is GITL. GITL is into the development of Malavaram, Bhopal, Bhilwara and Vijaypur pipeline projects. So this accounts around 1881 kilometers. So again, this company is also majorly in the investing phase, where it is not able to get the revenue, fetch the revenues. It is still in the process of laying down the pipelines. So as of now, both GIGL and GITL are in the investment phase. So we cannot expect any revenues or any kind of amount coming into the company. The only thing can be expected is the money is going outside the company. Now coming to India map, as you can see, this upper region is being developed by GIGL, that is from Mehsan to Bathinda and from Bathinda to Jammu Srinagar. And this middle and southern part, Bhopal, Vijaypur and this Telangana section is being developed and maintained by GITL. So this is the work of these two subsidiaries. Now coming to the shareholding pattern of GSPL, around 37.63% of share is held by promoters. Promoter here is Gujarat State Government. Around 17.46% is held by FIS, 30.02% is held by DIS, and remaining around 14.88% is held by public. This is actually a good pattern because public is holding a lesser than a 15% of shares in this company. Now coming to the financial performance, first we will start off with revenues. Now starting with the revenues, from 2017 to 2021, the revenues have grown at a CAGR rate of 18.24%. This is actually a good number. Anything above 15% is considered to be good, and 18.24% is actually a good one. So revenue wise, it is a superb company. The company is performing very good. Coming to net profits, From 2017 to 2021, the net profits have grown at a CAGR rate of 32.24%. Again, this is a good number. Anything above 20 is considered to be good, and this is having a growth of 32.24, which is a superb number. Now coming to the margin ratios, the operating margin in the financial year 2021 was approximately 27, which is actually a good number. So again, a thumbs up for this company. And net profit margin is around 18.67%. So this is also a good one. So again, a thumbs up. Now coming to the return ratio, the return on capital employed is 28.23%, which is again a good one, and return on net worth is 25.14%. Now we see that majority of these ratios are good numbers. The reason for this is Gujarat gas grid pipelines are fully functioning now, and revenues are flowing continuously from this region. So the company is seeing very high numbers in its accounts. Now coming to the debt, as this is a kind of a company which is in infrastructure business that is laying down the pipelines, so a normal debt can be expected in this company. Now if we see the debt to equity figures from last 5 years, in financial year 2018 we see a debt to equity ratio of 1.64. This is because in 2018 it took a huge debt to construct Amritsar Bathinda pipelines. So we see a huge debt in this year, and year on year the debt has gradually decreased. And the other major thing to notice here is the company is trying very hard to reduce its debt by clearing the borrowings. So this is actually a good thing. Now coming to the cash flows are considered to be one of the major thing to be concentrated in any of the financial reports. So starting off with the operations, if we see the operations from 2017 to 2021, the cash from operation has gradually increased. From 1644 it reached to 2897 crores. So cash flows from operations are gradually increasing. This is because many of its pipeline are functioning now and the cash is being flowed in the company. Now coming to the investing activity, as I said, in 2018 it took a major loan. So the major loan was invested here. Around 3604 crore was shown in the investing activity. Now talking about this investing activity, so the company is in infrastructure business, so we obviously will be seeing the investing activities. So in financial year 2021, the company invested around 1079 crores. Now coming to the finance, before we get down into the finance, an important thing to note here is this company pays very less dividend. So we will actually ignore the dividends from this finance and only think that the finance includes the borrowings. So thinking that the financing is all about borrowings, we see that from 2017 to 2021, the borrowings are increasing, decreasing. The minus sign here indicates company paid the money and the plus sign indicates company borrowed the money. So in 2017, the company actually paid around 879 crores. In 2018, as I said, the company had a huge debt to equity ratio. This was because the company borrowed around 2026 crores. In 2019, the company paid around 1382 crores. In 2020, it again paid, and in 2021, it paid around 2096 crores. So company is aggressively paying its borrowings. So this is actually a good thing to notice here, because the company is aggressively trying to reduce its debt and it is trying very hard to bring down the debt. So this is actually a good thing. So cash flow wise, the company looks to be pretty good, where operations are increasing gradually. Now coming to the valuations, I have done this simple calculation where I have tried to valuate all its subsidiaries on the amount of shareholding which this company has, and also I have tried to evaluate the GSPL's core business. So let's start with Gujarat Gas Limited. So in Gujarat Gas Limited, the company holds around 54% of share. So presently the market cap of Gujarat Gas Limited is around 50,000 crores. So GSPL share would be valued at 27,000 crores, and let's take here a 50% buffer. This buffer is taken here because GSPL is a holding entity, and holding entity never gets the price at which its subsidiaries are trading. So in case if Gujarat Gas is being dissolved, the holding entity will not be getting the price at which it is actually trading. It will always get the lesser price. So we'll assume a 50% buffer, and we will only consider this 27,000 crores to be 13,500 crores. So from Gujarat Gas Limited, the company is accounting around 13,500 crores. Now coming to Sabarmati Gas Limited. In Sabarmati Gas Limited, the company holds around 27% of share. Since the Sabarmati Gas Limited is not a fully public company, so we will estimate the market price of this company at a 20 PE. So it comes around 900 crores. Now coming to GIGL and GITL, the company holds around 52% of share in each of this company, and presently these companies are still in investing phase, so there are no revenues coming inside the company. So let's be more conservative here and not consider these two companies market cap. Now coming to GSPL core business, let's be very conservative again here. At a 10 PE, the core business market cap would be evaluated at 10,000 crores. So adding now all of these figures, that is 10,000 crores, 900 crores and 13,500 crores. This all comes out to be 24,500 crores, approximately 25,000 crores. So the GSPL estimated market price should be 25,000 crores. That is what our estimation is. But presently the market cap of GSPL is around 19,750 crores and the market price of each share is 350 rupees. So according to the estimation, the stock is undervalued as of now, and the estimated fair value of this particular share is 440 rupees. So presently the stock is trading at a discount of around 90 rupees. That is almost 23% below the estimated fair value. So this is the valuation of the company. Now coming to the opportunities and concerns, let's first start with opportunities. GSPL, as we saw earlier, has very good revenues coming in and very good net profit growth. So this is a positive sign and this is an opportunity for investors to consider here. Second thing is its fully functioning Gujarat grid. As we saw in the map, in Gujarat, most of its pipelines are completed and are being commissioned. So money is aggressively being flowed into the company. The third positive thing to note here is the pipeline work is in progress in the northern and middle and southern parts of country. So GIGL and GITL construction work is in progress. So this is again a positive thing. The fourth thing is its Amritsar pipeline. So last year Amritsar pipeline was commissioned successfully and it is functioning now. So the gas is being transported through these pipelines in Amritsar. So again, this means that the revenues are flowing from this region. So again, this is a positive thing to consider here. Now coming to the concerns. Now the first concern here is its high dependency on imports. Presently the Dahej and Hazira terminal gets the natural gas from the Qatar. From Qatar the oil is being shipped to India, and Dahej and Hazira are the terminals where the natural gas which is being imported is stored. So this business is mainly dependent on the imports which mainly happens from Qatar. Number one concerns. So there is no diversification here. Now the second concern is the rise of IGX. IGX is nothing but Indian Gas Exchange, which is trying very hard to get the usage of this gas grid connections which GSPL has laid down. Okay, what it is trying to do here is IGX sells the gas at very less price and it only needs the pipeline connections so as to transport the gas. Since it can sell the gas at very low price, but it is not having a gas grid connection, that is, it is not having the transportation facility. For this, it wants the premises of GSPL to be used, for which GSPL has not signed anything yet. So from recent months, IGX is trying very hard to convince GSPL to give its pipeline connections so that it can transport its gas and sell at very less price. But the thing here is, if the IGX starts selling this at a very less price, then GSPL's customers will get obviously attracted to IGX. Then they will stop buying from Gujarat Gas Limited. So this means that the GSPL would be taking a hit on the revenue. So this is the reason why GSPL is not interested in transporting the IGX gas. Now coming to the third concern. Third is the hazardous leakage and fire and safety issues. So wherever there is a gas and a oil transportation involved, there is always a scenario of these kind of things. The fourth concern here is the regulations from PNGRB. PNGRB is nothing but Petroleum Natural Gas Regulatory Board, which is the regulatory body of the natural gas and petroleum products. It can be expected that in future the PNGRB can account many players into the scenario and it can make a tougher job for GSPL. So these are just assumptions, these are not the actual situation which is happening now. Now the fifth concern is the price of natural gas in the international market. Now whatever natural gas which is being transported from all these gas grid connections is all the international oil. If there is a rise in the price in the international market, then this will obviously affect the consumption and it will bring down the revenues. The price of natural gas in the international market is also a concern here. The sixth concern here is its heavy capital oriented business. Since this is an infrastructure company, there will always be a requirement of a high capital in this business. So this business requires a very high capital. Now the last concern according to me is the company being a PSU in nature. Since it is not fully a PSU, only a 37% of stake is being held by Gujarat state government, but still it is a kind of a PSU. PSUs in itself are assumed to be a very lazy, a less proactive company. So this is one of the concerns according to me. The other concern which I want to really add on here is in whole annual report, I didn't find anywhere the deadlines for completion of all its projects. Whether it might be GITL, GIGL projects which are going on, I didn't find the deadlines or a specified boundaries. This is little bit concerning because if there is not a deadline, if there is not a boundary, then it can be assumed that the companies will not be working so proactively. So this is one of the concerns according to me. But in case if you find any of the deadlines of this company, then please drop down them in the comment section. I'll try to verify them and I'll try to put them in my description box. Now coming to my personal opinion, I'm presently bullish on this particular stock. The reason for this is most of its numbers are good and I think that the company will perform steadily in coming few years. Of course, there will be a hindrance in its cash flow statements because company is investing more money in infrastructure activity. But anyways, in coming 3 to 5 years, everything will be settled and the money would be flowing into the company. That is what I feel and that is one of the reason. And the second reason is its Amritsar pipeline. Last year, that is in financial year 2020, the Amritsar pipeline got finished and was commissioned. So with this, the revenue started to flow from Amritsar region. So this would be adding more cash to the company.